What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be talking you guys through the upcoming set rotations, why it is important for you guys to know about the rotation, when it's happening roughly, and sort of what you got to look out for. I'm laughing because this is now the second time I'm making this video, okay? So the first time the audio messed up, I have no clue what happened. Sometimes it clearly happens and it hasn't happened before. But take two. So wish me luck. Before I get into this, guys, if you guys want to continue showing your love and support, please share this video as much as you can. Like, comment down below. Greatly appreciate it. It just helps grow the channel and helps me get more content out to all you guys. So appreciate that. Thank you for your support. First thing, I want to touch on what rotation is. So, if you guys don't know, obviously Pokemon is an actual card game that you can play. There's loads and loads of players, and every so often, Pokemon rotates certain sets out of current format play. So they do that to keep the meta fresh. They do that to keep sales up because then people need to buy the new sets constantly, and it keeps it just nice and fresh, right? For the people playing the game, you're not playing the same meta, the same cards, blah 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 blah. So essentially, what that means for you guys and for us is that every so often, Pokemon takes these sets out of rotation, which means they're less likely to print these sets again, right? That seems to be the case for the most part. I don't think they've ever really gone back on this. It seems to be their business model in a sense, where they don't print the product that they take out of rotation as heavily as much. That is obviously always subject to change. Pokemon can obviously change anything they want in a heartbeat. It's not a hard and fast rule, but to date we've only got the past history and data to work off. That is what they do. So the next sort of block to go out is the first is it 5 sets from Scarlet and Violet to rotate out. So it's just interesting to see where the market is right now and where it could go. Obviously, Scarlet and Violet Base. Let's start there. It has some great cards. It is obviously not the best set in Scarlet and Violet block. However, it is a very good base set. Base sets are notorious for being bad sets, right? Notoriously known for being garbage sets. You got the Sword and Shields base is absolutely abysmal. You probably got Sun and Moon base is probably pretty bad. I don't know about X and Y, but I'd imagine it's the same. It seems to be shifted, which is pretty cool because you got Scarlet and Violet base, which stepped up a bit, and then we've got Mega Evolutions. It's trying to step it up again, and obviously base set itself is one of the best base sets. So it's pretty good. I mean, Black and White was pretty bad. Diamond and Pearl was pretty bad. You know, if you go back, it still gets pretty bad. So and it's good to see that's changing, right? And there's some great cards. Obviously, you got the Gardevoir, the Drowsy that's got quite popular. Riolu. You got the Miriam. There's some other cool cards down here, and Pachirisu is pretty cool. But what I'm saying is, it's pretty good for a base set, and base sets tend to perform decently, even if they have bad sets. And let alone if it's a good set, you never know what might come of it. So we've got booster boxes hovering around that 200 mark. Some selling for less than 200 right now. To be honest, if it goes out of rotation, guys, this won't get printed again. You know, Pokemon have got way too many problems later down the line to be worried about Scarlet and Violet base that they printed pretty decently. Because you could find this ready available anywhere. You still can find ETBs. My mate bought an ETB like a month ago from a shop, so they still have Scarlet and Violet base for MSRP around the place. Don't rate me on that. But they essentially, I could see this going to 350 next year. So I should mention that the set rotation is most likely going to happen early 2026. It's normally around the March April time. Every year they tend to move this block out, and as they release more sets, the new sets go into rotation, right? So that's how the rotation sort of works. And Scarlet and Violet Base will be taken out. But I could see this being 350, guys. It's not really, booster boxes are becoming this sort of holy grail item for Pokemon. It's never going to get printed again after this year, most likely. And it's 200. It's hardly above MSRP. It's only 50 pounds above MSRP. I could see this going 350 easy next year. So that's my price target for this for next year. We'll see what plays out. We'll see what happens. There might be a bear market in between then. Macro might get involved, but it's looking good. It's looking good, right? So moving on to Paldea. Obviously, this is one of the more hyped sets in the era, one of the more beloved. There's loads and loads and loads. This set is stacked full of great cards, right? You've obviously got the Chase, the Magikarp, the Tyranitar is holding very strong at second place. You've got the Mousehold working its way up there. It wasn't up there before. Raichu is a staple for this set. Iono, the Chiyu EX. I love this card. Definitely one of my favorite cards in Scarlet and Violet in its entirety. What a stunning card. If you would just look at that in itself and not know anything about Pokemon, I think you would find that a very attractive card. The Marill, you got obviously the other godlike Pokemon, Woad Chen and Chenpo, however you say it. And yeah, I think it's decently stacked, and obviously the market has agreed with Paldea being a great set for a decent while. I mean, it's already at that 350 mark, which is where I want Scarlet and Violet Base to reach that next year. I don't actually have any Scarlet and Violet Base, but I do have one Paldea Evolved booster box, which I was very fortunate to pick up quite early on in this run. But 350 is a good price, I'd say, for Paldea right now, considering it's about to go out of print. I'd be very worried as to the prices of how these move when these go out of print, because obviously Pokemon probably aren't printing much Paldea anymore, right? Of course, they've got bigger fish to fry later on down the line, but they might still be like, they're putting it in collection boxes, in premium collections, in whatever, right? And in whatever products that come out. 3-pack blisters they might be sending to Dollar Tree or Poundland. You just don't know where they send these packs, and that's all of it is going to be ending right next year if Pokemon sticks to what they normally stick to, and that's going to drive upwards momentum for the singles in the set, which then probably will drive the booster box to increase as well on top of that. So prediction wise, I could see this is, for me, in terms of value, if I look at the set and I say, okay, very good chase card, right? Clearly pushing, doing well, people want it. The T-Tar is obviously climbing, the Raichu, the Iono is all pretty strong across the board. I could see this set being similar to Fusion Strike, okay? Probably pushing that £500 mark next year. It's only 100. It's only 150 quid increase, probably 50%. I'd say when a set goes out of print cycle, I would say a normal move for a booster box the year after that would be a 50% upwards move. In general, especially in a strong bull market like this, it makes sense. It makes sense, right? So Paldea, that's Paldea. We're on to Mr. Obsidian Flames itself. Quite a small set in general, not my favorite set, probably one of my least favorite sets, although it does hold some great artworks. I love the Sizzle, love the Gloom, love the Ninetales. The Cleffa is gorgeous, of course, very hard to grade. The Charizards are decent, not my favorite Charizards, but they're decent, and it's been very interesting to watch what's been happening to Charizard over this last year, because it's been all about the evolutions for the longest time now, and it's very interesting to see Charizard bounce back like this. There was part of me that didn't wish Charizard was dead, but thought Charizard was sort of dead for like the hype around Charizard. watch it like move over to the evolutions for the longest time. And for it to bounce back like it's bounced back is pretty cool to see, actually. I haven't been in many Charizard cards or anything. It's just been nice for it to sort of go back to its roots where Charizard was valued very highly above all else. So pretty cool for Obsidian, but definitely not my favorite set. The ETBs are probably what carries this set in general. Obviously the booster box here selling for around that 250 mark, 260 there, 300 there, ooh, 220, 250. So 260, probably around that 260 mark for a booster right now. Um, again, I could see this 350, 400 next year. Um, Probably one of the ones I'm least bullish on, but although it's more likely than not to have a smaller print run, um, to have had a smaller print run. It's one of I'd say, the least graded cards in terms of sets, Obsidian. So I'm unsure with this one. It remains to be seen because it might do better than that based on what was printed. But we'll see. We'll see what happens to Obsidian. On to 151, one of the most graded sets ever. We're talking 600,000 cards in English plus, and climbing every day. But it's very cool to see that the prices aren't too drastically, out of reach for most people, right? It's very cool that because Prismatic is, at least we're not seeing any like 500s, no 600, 700 price targets on these cards, and like Prismatic, right? And that's pretty cool to see that Pokemon have done a great job of printing this product into it, not into the ground, but into like a range where people can still afford to buy the cards they like. And don't get it twisted, guys. There is thousands of these cards out there. Pokemon have printed this set very heavily, okay, and they still are printing this set, but it is due to go out of rotation. And this is one of the sets that I imagine they'll print until the end, until the very last beat possible. They will print 151. So that's running all the way into next year. I think the booster bundles will keep showing up on Very and other sites, even in the US. If you're at Walmart, whatever, I still think 151 will be showing up. Pokemon have done a great job at keeping the prices down. But what's going to happen to the sealed product is scary because they have not printed the ETB, right? Especially the Pokemon Center ETB. Uh, I've heard many people expect this to be reprinted. I haven't seen any notion or have any feeling that the Pokemon Center will do that. Um, and this will become a collector's item more and more each day. Uh, will they reprint this? There's obviously always the chance, but it's looking less likely every day. And it does hold a drastic premium to the normal ETB, which is going for like half the price, right? 300. So if I was you, if you were picking up an ETB, I'd pick up the normal one probably. I mean, the Pokemon Center one is holding a lot of collection value rather than actual physical value, to it. And I'd say the normal one's probably less risk right now because I doubt they'll print the ETB. They'll probably just stick to booster bundles. Um, it's just safer for them. They don't have to worry. I mean, they don't have to worry about upsetting this whole secondary market. People might lose faith in Pokemon. It's a lot of money in the secondary market and a lot of demand that Pokemon have through this market. Um, and it pulls a lot of people through, right? So we'll see what happens to 151, but I'd imagine if I had to guess, the Pokemon Center one's going a grand plus by end of next year. This it'll be interesting to see. Obviously at least half that. I rule of thumb, ETB, normal ETB at least half. But on to one of the more intriguing ones, Paradox Rift. What a sleeper set this set is. Oh my god, I love Paradox Rift, man. I love Paradox Rift. The Groudon, the Altaria, the Roaring Moon, Morpeko, Steelix, Groudon. It's stacked Yveltal, Minimum Plusle. It just feels stacked to me. Magma, Loudred, Swablu, Garchomp Gold. It is just feels stacked, right? They have a lot of IRs. I feel like the Groudon could pull off a Magikarp. It's relatively hard to grade, not as hard as the Magikarp, but it is hard to grade, right? And it is a gorgeous card, especially you gotta imagine if they bring out a Kyogre at some point as well. You will need to pair this with the Groudon. That might drive separate demands. You never know what they're gonna bring out, but they need to do a Kyogre IR like this at some point. They would be missing the beat if they didn't. So at some point, I feel Kyogre's coming. I don't know where, but I'm sure around the corner at some point. Um, Altaria, what a lovely card. This card seems to me like a screaming buy. It reminds me of the Aerodactyl from Lost Origin. Uh, Very similar vibe. I love it. I love that card. And I Paradox was it's been restocked on the Pokemon Center this year already. Booster boxes as well. They've only just sold out. They restocked them. So I feel like they're done with Paradox. I could be wrong, but I feel like they're done. And what happens to booster boxes after they've gone through this whole print cycle? If Pokemon are done printing, it's most likely gonna push to the upside, right? To me, by next year, I would hope to see this around 350, if not 400 a box. That would be my prediction. I think Paradox is heavily slept on. Uh, I've got three booster boxes now, so I've got like a smaller position. It's not. I like Paradox a lot, but not enough like the big hitters that I would want to put my lunch money like Surgeon Sparks. Surgeon Sparks is going to do way better things than Paradox Rift, but I still think that Groudon could become a Magikarp. I'm still holding out. I'm still holding out for that. But obviously, so this comes out. This set rotation happens in April. So we'll see what happens in 2026 post that. Maybe the bull market starts to turn a bit sour. Who knows? But that is all I have for you guys today. I just want to say thank you very much for watching. I will try and get more videos uploaded over the span of this week, next week. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. Thank you for joining the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.